Hello everybody, happy Sunday and welcome to day 5, the final day of our bead along, where we will be creating our butterfly bead today, which can also be made as a ring, as you learned on Wednesday. So you will need a 3mm and 4 4mm, and again you can interchange. So here I've got rounds, here I have a 3mm bicone, here I have bicones, and here I have a 3mm round. So it doesn't matter if it's a round or a bicone, you can use that, okay? And you can obviously also do it on your ring base if you made a ring base, or as a bead, and hopefully you have pre-prepared your bead. If you haven't, go back and watch day 3, make a bead or a ring base, okay? And then you'll be ready to start today. So again, I'll just remind you quickly, there is a PDF available, has all 5 days instructions, and today we're starting on page 18. It's only $5, and I'll put the link in the first comment down below. And it's a great way if you just want to thank me, buy me a cup of coffee. It's $5, I would greatly appreciate it. I do have to, keep my lights on. So, if you feel like supporting me in that way, you can. And if you, aren't financially able, I totally understand that as well, because I know that times are tough at the moment. Okay. So once you have your base, and hopefully you tied your threads off in the back when you finished it, okay, you're going to start with a new piece of thread today, and probably about 4 feet will do. And what I like to do is just sew through a few, and we're going to exit, sew through a few on the top and exit from that very middle diamond, the point of that middle diamond, so the second seed bead. 11-0 seed bead in the middle there, okay? I'll just draw you in a little bit so you can see. All right, and we're just gonna let our tail here hang out, okay? All righty, so we're going to sew down this diagonal here until we exit from this bead here. So go ahead, sew through the first 2 A beads, and you're going to go down through the B bead, okay? So you should be coming out at the bottom of that B bead, okay? You're going to pick up one of your 4mm, and today I'm using some Amazonite, so just rounds, okay? Pick it up, look across this diamond here on the edge, and we're going to sew up into. So we're coming out the bottom of this bead, we're going to go up into that bead that's the opposite on the diamond, okay? And we're going to sew back through your 4mm, which can be, remember, it can be a bicone. And then we're going to sew down again through that same bead that we started in, that B bead. And just give that a little tug, okay? All right, so we have 1 gemstone attached. Again, do not worry that there's a bit of thread showing. It is all going to get covered up, okay? All right, so now we're gonna move down these 2 A's toward the middle bead right here. Okay, so just sew forward through the 2 A's towards the middle. Okay, and we're going to pick up one of our 15 O's, and we're just going to sew down the next 2 A's, going back out towards the edge. And that 15-0 is going to sit kind of next to that middle 11-0, okay? And then we're going to sew down through the B bead at the junction here. And at this point, I recommend using a size 10 needle just to dig in. It's a little bit stronger for digging in where you need to go, okay? All right, then we're gonna grab one of our 4mm, coming out the bottom, going up into the top of this bead. We're going back through the gemstone. And then we're going down through that B bead again. Okay, so you now have two gemstones attached on that side over our third diamond. We're going to sew forward down this line and back up to here. And you'll notice that I am sewing through that middle 11-0 there, okay? So go down those 3 and then up the next 2. And then you're going to go up through the B bead that's at that corner. We're gonna again pick up a gemstone. So this time my thread is going upwards, so I'm going to sew downwards through the opposite B bead. So back through the gemstone again. And then sew upwards through that same B bead again. And pull that all nice and tight. And then we're going to travel up the next 2 A beads right here. Just the A beads, okay? And again, we're going to pick up 115-0, and then we're going to sew up the next 2 A beads and then up into this B bead here. So you're not going through the gold bead, the B bead that's at the junction, okay? We're skipping that one. So we're just going up the A beads. And up into that junction bead. And then we have one more gemstone to attach on. We're coming out the top, so we're going to go from the top to the bottom. We're going to go back through our bead again. And then we're going to sew straight back up into that B bead. Give that a nice pull. Okay, now we're going to work our way up towards the middle and come out the top, okay? So go up the 2 A beads. Just make sure that you're not getting looped around your gemstones. And here we're going to go through the middle B and the next B right in front of the 8-0. Okay, so go through 2. Okay, we're going to pick up 4 of our 15-0s. Whoops. So 4 15-0s. And we're going to sew straight down into the left hand 15-0 that we just added a few minutes ago, okay? And we're going to pick up 4 more. Okay. And we're going to sew through these 3 beads in the center on the bottom between the 2 8-0s, okay? So from left to right through those 3 11-0 beads. And you'll notice that it's loose, okay? And that's good. You need it to be a little bit loose, okay? So don't try and pull it really tight or anything. We actually need that a little bit of slack right here, and it's gonna all get filled up, I promise, okay? Okay, pick up 4 more. 4 more of your 15 O's, sew up through the right hand side, okay, and 4 more. And here we're going to sew through the 11-0 that's next to the 8-0 and then the middle 11-0 at the top. So you're only going through 2. And you're going from right to left through those beads, okay? All right, so we kind of have like an H on the front of our bead at the moment, okay? So now we're going to pick up a 8-0 and an 11-0. Okay, so a C and a B. We are going to sew into the so of the 4 that are here, we're going to sew into the 4th bead plus the middle bead plus the first bead of the next 4. So we're skipping 3, we're sewing into the bottom one plus that one plus that one. Okay, and we're going to pick up an 8-0 and an 11-0, sorry, an 11-0 and an 8-0 this time. So pick up your 11 and then your 8, and we're going to sew through this bottom middle 11-0. Okay, so the very middle one, going from left to right. Okay, then you're going to sew back up through the 8-0 and the 11 that you just added. And then we're going to sew through the top bead of the group of 4 plus the middle 15-0 plus the next one. So you should have 3 at the bottom that you're skipping and 3 at the top that you're skipping. Okay. And then you're going to sew straight up through the 11 and the 8 at the top. So it should kind of pull in and make a shape, like an oval shape here, okay? Hopefully yours looks like that as well. Okay, now we're going to sew into the very, very middle top 11-0, and we're going to sew all the way over to the first 8-0 over on the side, okay? So you probably will have to take a few passes to get all the way through. Okay, once you are coming out from the 8-0 that's kind of above the left-hand gemstones here, okay, you're going to pick up 5 15-0s. And so on the back, we have these, you know, bits here, okay? So find the bit on the side right here, okay? This is the line here that we're kind of going to be working on, I guess. You're going to sew into the B bead that's at the junction right here where this, where the A's meet, like at the top before that little section, okay? So you're going to sew through that B bead plus the next B and the 8-0. Okay, so we're going through the junction bead, the next B bead, and then the 8-0. Okay. And those are just going to hang out. Little line of beads right there, okay? Now we're going to pick up 7 of our 15 O's. Okay, so you've got 7 15 O's. We're going to pick up an 8O. We're going to pick up 2 15 O's. We're going to pick up another 8O and then one more 15O. Okay, so we've got 7 15s and 8, 2 15s and 8, and 1 15. We're going to sew through this middle left-hand 15 right here on this like little group of 3. We're sewing through this middle one, and we're going to sew downwards through that bead. And this is where you may need to change needles pretty soon, okay? So see how it goes, and if you have to, you can change needles. And what we want is we want these 2 15 O's to kind of fit in between our gemstones like this, with the 2 8 O's kind of on the side of our gemstones, okay? So it should kind of look like that, all right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to pick up 4 15 O's and 1 11O. Okay, so 4 15s and an 11. And you're going to look right here. And we're going to sew into the middle 11 that's kind of below our gemstone here, plus the next 11 and the 8O. Okay, so we're going through the middle bead, the next one, and the 8O. Okay, so they're gonna sit kind of off to the side like that. Okay, and this is why we needed a little bit of slack here in our thread, because it does start to get quite crowded in this area. Okay, all right, now we're gonna pick up 5 more 15 O's. Okay, so 5 15 O's, and this is just like this one up here. We're gonna go into that bottom B bead right here, okay, plus the next B bead and the 8O. Okay. And go ahead and pull that quite tight if you can. Okay. Then we're going to go up through that very bottom on this line of 7. You're going to go into that very first bead, okay, going towards the middle. And what you want to do is you want to kind of pull it so that it's like in the middle of the 8O, okay? So if you pull it inwards, it should kind of go there. And then you're going to pick up 6 of your 15 O's. Okay, so 6 15 O's. And we're going to sew into the 8O, the 2 15 O's that are after the 8O, and the next 8O, and the next 15 O. Okay, so you're going through 8O, 2 15s, 8O, and next 15. And what you want to do is you want that second line of beads to just hang out on the top side next to your first line of beads here, okay? And kind of try and get them evenish if you can. Okay, and then we're going to go on that set of 3 15-0s right here that's next to our 11-0. Okay, we have 3 here going between these two. We're going to go up through that middle bead. And this, again, it may be where you need to change to a size 12 needle, okay? I am actually shocked that I've been able to get through so far. Okay, so go ahead and pick up 4 more 15-0s and 1 11-0. Oh, that one's a different color. Okay, let me move that one out of the way. All right, so 4 15-0s and an 11, and we're going to go into the very first, that kind of middle of those 3 beads that is above the gemstone, okay? Like so. Give it a nice tug, okay? Okay, so coming out from the top of those middle 3 seed beads on the edge between the 2 8-0s, okay, we're going to go down into that very first A bead, just one, okay, so just that very first A bead on the side there. Okay, then you're going to pick up 3 15-0s. And we're going to sew down, so look at where your 8-0 is here between the 2 gemstones. You're going to sew down through the first 15s after that 8-0. So the first 4. Okay, so I've got 3 on, and I'm sewing down the first 4 on the upper strand that's leading over here, okay? And then you're going to pick up 2 15-0s, and you're going to look at this strand of 5 on the top right here, okay? You're going to sew down that very top 15-0. Okay. And give that a pull, and it's going to pull this line over and kind of create, once this line's pulled over, it's going to kind of create like a W, okay? Then we're going to sew down all 5 of these B and C beads, so 2 11s, the 8-0, and the 2 11s. So you're going to sew down through those. Okay, give it a nice pull. This should all be kind of tightening up now, so don't be afraid to pull it into position, okay? And then we're going to go up through that very first of the 5 15s on this bottom row. We're going to go through just that first one there, okay? You're going to pick up 2 15s, and you're going to sew through the top 4, counting down from your 8-0. So 1 2 3 4. So I need to sew through that one and the rest, going up to so coming through the last 4 right before that 8-0 on your bottom strand, okay? And so now we have this pretty shape here, okay? And then we're going to pick up 3 of our 15s, and we're going to sew into the A that is right before that bottom middle bead right there. Okay, so go ahead, sew into that A bead. I'm struggling to get into it. Okay, so it should now look like that on the side and looks like this on the front. Okay, I moved my 15s over here because that's mainly what I'm using. Okay, so we're going to pick up 1 15-0, And we're going to go through the B and the 4 A's right here. Sorry, the 4 15s right here, which are technically D, okay? So you're going to pick up a 15, go through the 11, and so it's not the 11 on the edge, it's the 11 that's like above the edge that we're going through, okay? And just give that a little pull, and then we're going to go through the 15 that's kind of right before that 8-0 there, okay? Plus the 8-0, the next 2 15s, and the 8-0. Then we're going to pass through our 3 15s that we added just a minute ago right here, okay? So they are now connecting onto that 8-0, right? And we're going to go down through the A bead, plus you can travel through the next few beads, and we're going to work our way all the way over to the last 8-0 on the front right here, which is beyond the next set of gemstones. So go through the A, the middle B, and beyond. Okay, so now once you are coming out from the C bead, which is the 8-0 here, okay, we're going to pick up 5 of our 15s. Okay, so 5, and we're going to go through the B that's at the junction of this diamond, okay, plus the next B plus the 8-0. So this is essentially the same as what we did on the other side, just on this side, okay? And go ahead and pull that quite tight. You can kind of smush your bead a little bit flat right there. The front should kind of almost be domed by the time you're finished, like this. Okay, so the back ends up being flat and the front ends up being kind of like a loaf of bread, okay? So you can kind of, if it's really square, kind of push it in a little bit. Pull that nice and tight, those 5, okay? Now we're going to pick up our 7 15s. Okay, so we've got 7, and we're going to pick up an 8-0 and 2 more 15s and 1 more 8-0 and 1 more 15. So we've got 7, an 8, 2, an 8, and 1 at the end. Look at this little group of 3 right here, and we're going to go up through that middle 15-0. And make sure you're sewing upwards, okay? Okay. I can't get through. Okay, so once you get through that 15, change needles if you need to, like I did. You're going to pick up 4 15s and 1 11. Okay, and we're going to go into the second of this group of 3, the second, the third, and out through the 8-0 right here. Okay, so coming out from the 8-0, we're going to pick up 5 of our 15s. And once you've got 5, you're going to sew through the 11 that's at the junction here, okay, plus the next 11 and the 8-0. And again, if you need to kind of squish your bead, pull that nice and tight. Okay. Once you're coming out from that 8-0, we're going to sew up through that very first 15 on that line of 7 there. And you're going to want to try and center that line over the 8-0. So give it a little pull, okay? Then you're going to pick up 6 of your 15s. All right, and we're going to go into our 8-0 plus the 2 15s after it, plus the 8-0, plus the 15 after that. Okay, so you're going from the 8-0 through 2 8-0 and the last 15 there, okay? And you want that line that you just added to sit below, on the bottom side, below the other line of little beads there, okay? And then we are going to sew downwards through this middle of these 3 next to our 11 in the middle. We're going to sew down through that middle bead. And that should help to center this little row of, our little row of beads right here, okay. All right, so now we're going to pick up 4 15-0s plus an 11. So 4 plus an 11, and we're going to sew into the middle of this group of 3 that's underneath our gemstone at the bottom. Okay, so it should now look like this. I'm going to quickly, I'm going to switch back to my other needle really quickly. Hang on. That needle is so bent and bendy that I'm struggling to kind of get where I want to go. Okay. All right, so now we're going to sew through this A bead that is right here above the next gold bead. So I'm coming out the middle of the group right here. I'm going into the next A bead. And then I'm going to pick up 3 15-0s. Okay. I'm going to sew down the first 4 after the 8-0 on the lower side. And then I am going to pick up 2, and I'm going to sew down into the bottom, the last one on that group of 5 at the bottom. Okay, give that a pull, and we're going to sew up all 5 of these beads right here, the B's and the 8-0. So all 5 of those beads. Then we're going to sew up through that bottom 15 right there. Okay, you're going to pick up 2 15s and you're going to sew into the last 4 before the 80 here. So 1 2 3 4. So those 4 there. And give that a pull so you should have a kind of nice shape here. Okay. And then we're going to pick up 3 15-ohs. And we're going to sew down into the A bead that is right before that middle bead right there. Okay. And give that a pull. Okay, we're going to pick up 1 15-oh and we're going to sew through this B bead plus 4 of our 15s. 1 2 3 4. So we're not going into any of the 3 in that like central bit. Okay, you're just going through the last line of 4 there. Okay, and that 15 that we picked up is just going to sit right at the top of that bead right there. Okay, kind of like this one is sitting here. We just can't do it all at once. So those 2 are there. Okay, then we're going to sew through that 1 15 that's kind of tucked in there plus the 80, the next 2 15s, and the next 80. So we're going through the first 15, the 80, 2 15s, the 80, and then we're going to sew through our 3 beads right here next to our top gemstone. Okay, we're going to sew through our A bead, and then you can continue on through the next few beads as well on the edge. So I'm going all the way through, but you know, just take it in stages if you need to. All right. Okay, then we're going to exit from that middle 11-oh that's at the top there. Top middle 11-oh that we started in. Okay, so coming out from that top middle 11-oh, we're going to go down through our 80 and our 11-oh. We're going to pick up a 3mm bead. So remember, this can either be a round or a bicone. I like that one. And then we're going to go down through the next 11 and the next 80 as well. Okay, and that's going to sit like that. And we're going to sew through that middle bottom bead on the edge, that 11-oh. And we're going to sew all the way back up that line of 5 beads that goes through the middle. So through the 80, through the 11, through the 3mm, through the 11, and through the 80. Okay, so now we're going to work our way over to exit from this middle gold bead of this group of 3 right here. Okay, so you're going to enter into that middle gold bead right there and carry on through. Okay. Sorry. So once you get to that middle of the top 3 and we're nearly done, we just have a few little things left to do here. Okay, so we're going to move through that A bead that's there. We're going to move through the next 3 15s. And then we're going to go up through the 8, the 2 15s, the 8, and the next 15. I kid you not, I just spent 10 minutes trying to get through this bead with this needle. Then I had to put the bigger needle back through the 8 and then come back to get through that one bead right there with the smaller needle. The angle and my needle kept bending. I was just, okay. Anyway, I made it. So now we're going to continue on up through the next 4 15s and our 11 at the top there. Okay, but not the one on the edge. Okay, so once you are coming out from that top 11 in that little line right there, you're going to pick up a 15. You're going to go into that first A bead at the top there. Okay, and that 15 is going to just fill the gap at the top, kind of like this one down here. Okay, then we're going to go through our 3 beads right here on the side, and then we're going to work our way down through some of this beadwork and around. And it doesn't really matter, you can either go this way or this way, or, you know, to like choose your path. Okay, whatever way you think needs you know, adjusting, maybe the tension isn't quite right or whatever, you know, go that way. Okay, I think I'll go this way. Okay, so now you're going to work your way all the way around until you get to this middle 11 that's right here at the bottom right corner. So you should have a 15 above this bead, above this bead, above this bead. We just have to add that 1 15 right here, and then we'll be done. Okay, so work your way through those 5 beads on the side. And up through the 5 beads leading up to that 8-0. And then you're just going to scooch straight along through all those edge beads. Okay, so now you can either pass through the A, well, yeah, you're going to have to actually, so never mind. Pass through the A and the next 3 15s. So A bead plus your 3 15s. And then you're going to go up into the 8-0, the 2 15s, the 8-0, and the 15 in the middle. Okay, so we're going through the 8, the 2 15s, the 8, and the last 15 there. Okay, you're going to pull that. You're going to go through the 4 15s and the 8 leading down to the bottom here. Okay, and then you're going to pick up 1 15-0. You're going to go into straight into that A bead again. Okay, and that's going to place that extra 15-0 that just sits at the bottom of that gem like the others. Okay, now we are more or less finished, so you can work through the next few beads and work your way to the edge. You can reinforce anything that you feel like needs reinforcing, and then just tie off your threads, okay? So I'm gonna go this way. And then I'm going to enter into these beads here. Okay, so now you can tie off your threads, and that is your butterfly bead all complete. Like I said, if you need to feel like you need to reinforce any of this decorations on the side, you can, okay? Anyway, that is it. I know this one is a little bit tricky. Like, I was making a ton of mistakes filming this, and you know, it's my pattern. So, good luck, everybody. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, that is your butterfly bead. Hopefully you like it. The ring, it makes a really pretty ring. And the ring's actually a little bit easier to sew through, I feel like, because it's more, you know, you can flip it, like you can access the beads a little bit easier. But I would love to see your butterfly beads, so please share. Go and join the Facebook group if you're on Facebook, Jules and Rose's Beading Buds. And I am dying to see all of your pieces, how you assemble your beads together. So please share with us your ideas. I can't wait to see everybody's beads, and I hope you've enjoyed this bead along, and stay tuned. I'm sure we'll have another one in a few months, okay? All right, take care for now. Bye.